Guys, what's up?
What's up, Bo? How's it going, my dude?
What's good, Bo?
Another long one.
I hear you, man. I hear you. I'm excited to have this conversation with you, my dude.
Yeah,
excited
man. I checked out what y'all doing, man. I love it. It needs to be more conversation about everything that's going on in the space, and I'm glad there's guys like us doing it.
Absolutely, man. And we kicking it with, for the listeners, NFL legend, cannabis visionary, entrepreneur, owner of All Pro Farms, Bo Scaife, Tennessee Titan, Texas Longhorn. I'm a big fan, man. That Rose Bowl, legendary game, man. I remember where I was watching that game. Probably my top three games watching. I'm a Gator fan, but as a football fan, that's definitely in my top three, NFL or college. One of my favorite games I ever watched, man.
Yeah, man. And I always tell people, man, you had to be there. I mean, as nice and crazy as it was, I'm sure on TV, man, just the atmosphere that night, just playing in the Rose Bowl and, everything that was at stake. The atmosphere, I just can't even put into words how electric it was, and just seeing all the good players on that field, that game. And that's what you live for as a little kid. You want to play those big games under the lights, of course. You know what I'm saying, with a big school or a big team, and so everything you dream about the kid, it definitely gave you all those feels.
What was it like in the huddle with Vince? Had a crazy game, man. He just kept making big play after big play, just making shit happen. What was it like in the huddle with Vince when you guys were trying to make that comeback?
VY is always just a calm dude in the huddle. I think his positivity is always, being one of his strengths, just his ability to be calm in those, big situations like that, those crazy moments. And, one thing about him is he believed. He believed, and, when your quarterback comes in the huddle and you see that in his eyes, you can't help but to believe. And, the kind of game that he was having, there was no reason for no one, in the huddle that night or even in the stadium or on the Longhorn sideline to believe that he wasn't going to pull that off, especially, with the time they had left. And, he was throwing the ball, he was using his legs. Everything was just falling into place for him to have such a legendary game that day. So, I don't know if people believe in football guys, but, it definitely was real that night.
Right. Yeah. Right. Why Texas? What made you choose Texas? I know you're from the West Coast, you're from Denver and all, but what made you choose Texas?
It was actually an easy decision. And, I was one of those kids who was fortunate enough to, pretty much pick any college I wanted to go to. I visited Georgia. I had letters from Florida State, Miami, Florida, and all the West Coast schools and some of the Big Ten, the Notre Dame, Michigan, Ohio State, and stuff like that. But, when you go on recruiting trips to these schools and, as immaculate as they are, and, they try to put up their best, foot on and best shoes on, when they have you down there, it just felt at home. It felt so comfortable. I went on my recruiting trip with Eli Manning. So, that kind of helped. I'm like, damn, it's me, my daddy, Eli, and Archie. So, that itself was an experience. I'm over here. I'm like, Daddy, we chilling with them. But I think Mac Brown and the coaching staff was probably what sealed the deal, along with Ricky Williams. You walk in there. This is the year he won the Heisman Trophy. So, I remember walking into the weight room and meeting Ricky and just, putting my hand on his shoulder. I'm like, God damn.
Oh, man.
This is,
he smell like weed.
Yeah, I was about to ask. Well, I know that locker room had to be lit, boy.
He didn't have no neck. And so my dad, even my dad was like, this is how you're going to look going to this school. And, everything football-wise is bigger than Texas. I know you guys are in Florida, but just the stadiums in Texas, like the high school stadiums, they really are college stadiums. They hold in 60, 80,000 people, and these are in small towns. They made a movie about the shit, Friday Night Lights. So, if you're a football guy and you had the opportunity to go there, especially being, from Denver, Denver, Colorado's a football state, okay, but it's not a big football state like some of the other places. So, it was a decision easy for me because everyone wanted me to stay home. But do I go play in front of 100,000? Do I go play in front of 50,000? I'm going to play in front of 100. And we had the number one recruiting class that year too, so that played a part in it. So, as a competitor, I want to go where all the ballers is going. So, I'm talking to Chris Sims, who, his dad is Phil Sims. He was our quarterback of the year. I'm talking to the defensive player of the year, out of Texas. His name was Corey Redden. And we had all these guys from around the country that were going to Texas that year. So the time was right. And it was actually Mac Brown's first recruiting class that kind of spiraled like that success that we had, in that little run we had in the early 2000s.
I want to double back to football because we got to talk a lot of just injury and concussions and all of that stuff, man. But I want to get to the business as early as we can, man, because that's what we're here for. The moment you decide that you're retiring from the Tennessee Titans, what was that moment like? How did you come to that decision?
Well, I retired after a little short stint with the Patriots. I hurt my neck in 2011 with the Bengals. I had just left, signed with the Bengals for 3 weeks, got hit in the preseason game, man. Shit, career was over, just like that. They had no idea the career was over. Missed the whole year, signed with the Patriots, played there for a few weeks. It was a good experience to, really get to see the Patriot way and see what Brady and all them is doing and why they got all the success up there. So, and then after that, you just get to a point, like, damn, like you feel like you still got it. You watching the games, you still got all the excitement and stuff like that, but the phone's not ringing, man. The phone's not ringing. And a lot of guys suffer from this. And it's all about how you value yourself. So, okay, obviously, the NFL, here's a guy who just had a neck injury. There's a lot of liability and whatever, bringing a guy like that who just came off a neck injury into the facility. So I could see from a business decision why a team wouldn't do that. And then for me, it was just kind of also, a sign where, like, it's time. And I really had a revelation when I was with the Patriots before, I got released, where I didn't love football like I used to. And I remember, Robert Kraft talking to the team one time, and like I really had this like real life body revelation where I'm like, damn, like that's where I need to be. Like, not the old white man, but like the guys who built this franchise and own this shit.
Right.
This the guy who playing Brady, Gronk, playing Belichick and all type of stuff. So obviously my vision right there knew that I was bigger than this. And this football was just going to be a pit stop for me. And so although the transition is hard and I didn't know what the hell I was going to do, my mindset was like, okay, I got to go build something big. Something big. And so it was easier for me to walk away from the game, just kind of having that mentality and knowing that.
I heard you mention on other platforms where you said that you feel that marijuana saved your life. I kind of want to speak from that aspect because rarely do you hear high caliber athletes like yourself mention that, tell it how it is and say this plant saved my life. So I want to speak to that. Like, how do you come across that?
When I was, coming out of high school, my senior year, I tore my ACL, and then played as a true freshman in Texas. Came back the sophomore year, man, ready to ball out. Tore my ACL again, very first day of camp. Missed that whole season. Came back the next year, balled out. All Big 12. Almost went to the national that year. That summer, tore my ACL again. So I literally tore my ACL 3 times in 5 years. Right? Man, this is serious reconstructive surgery. Your career is supposed to be over. And I was in a dark place after that third time. And I mean, I'm not going to class. I'm getting ready to punk out of school. I'm partying. I'm on drugs. I'm getting fucked up every day trying to cope with this shit because, just that kind of crisis and trauma, at a young age, you don't know how to handle it and stuff like that. And I can honestly say that, I was consuming marijuana, and once I kind of let go of some of the other stuff, like the marijuana kept me balanced and really helped me kind of figure shit out. It really kept me just, and it gave me hope, and it allowed me to navigate and really dissect my situation.
It slowed things down for you, man.
Slowed it down for me. Put me in a better mood. I love everyone at a young age. You like going out partying, getting fucked up and stuff like that, but it's obvious alcohol is bad by how you feel the next day. Your body is telling you, this shit don't like it. I don't like this shit. That's why your head hurts or your body hurts or you're sluggish. And you don't get that with marijuana. So I'm automatically like feeling like, damn, if I'm just on this, I'm feeling pretty good. My mood's up. I'm a little more upbeat. You know, my thoughts are getting back to where they need to be if I'm going to make a comeback, because that's what I'm about to have to do. No one believes I'm about to overcome 3 ACL surgeries and go to the league, let alone continue and go play football. My own coach told me, he's like, maybe you should quit. And I'm like, damn, that really fucked me up, because, you know, this is supposed to be the guy, you know, who brought you away from home. But at a young age, I didn't understand. He wasn't telling me because he didn't believe me. He was just like, listen, man, the odds, I don't want you to feel this pain anymore. You know, maybe just let it go, man, and hang it up. But I didn't see it like that, you know, because I was young and I'm immature. So, you know, even going to the University of Texas, people had a huge problem with marijuana. You know, I failed drug tests in college. They had a huge problem with that shit. And I wasn't ever really able to kind of let it go, because I just remember the place that I was and how it always just kept me feeling. So, you know, I did my best to abide by the rules and to make sure that I was eligible to play. So I wasn't letting my teammates down and letting myself down, and being able to abide, you know, by the path that I'm on to achieve these dreams, which a lot of kids, you know, they get that messed up. Like, if you can't do this shit, you can't do it. Like, and you got to make a decision, like, what's more important to you, your dreams or what you're doing at the moment. You know, so these are things that you got to battle, you know, at a young age. But, you know, like I said, marijuana, it helped me figure it out, man. And even to the point now where, you know, after retiring, it was that same thing. Like, after I hurt my neck, like, damn, what am I going to do? And so it's always been present to me in these situations of crisis and chaos where I was fucked up and in a dark place. It always brought me out of it, and at least it's helped me think my way out of it with, and give me some positivity around my situation to help me make good decisions and navigate with it. Now, the third layer to that is like, okay, it's really saved my life, because as an athlete, you have no idea what you love or care about besides what you've been doing your whole life. And this is what guys really, really struggle with. What else do I even fucking like to do, man? What else do I like to do? So it's easy for me to go be a coach because, all right, I'm still around everything that I love and I care about, you know. But as I told you earlier, like my mentality was like, I got to go do something big. So I didn't want to just go jump in and be a coach. I wanted to go challenge myself. I wanted to go get uncomfortable, even not knowing what the hell I was going to do. So I naturally just kind of fell into this place where cannabis has been in my life, and now I got an opportunity to build something within this space. I had to take it. I'm from Denver. I'm a Colorado kid. It's legal here. And one dude told me one time, a financial guy said, you'd be a fool not to invest in cannabis out there if you live there and you like it. So I take those words to heed.
Do you think like the culture of where you grew up at made that transition easier as far as you learning, you knowing already a little bit about marijuana? You're just not jumping in something that you don't know nothing about. Do you think that kind of helped with that transition?
It did, because
that's, you know, a lot of people have that stigma with marijuana and don't want to try it for whatever reason.
And, you know, what I realized being in this industry now is everything that they was telling us, and even the coaches and, you know, all these teachers and decision makers in our life, these authority figures, it was all bullshit. That shit was some bullshit. Yeah. That was some shit that they heard.
Propaganda, man.
Yeah, that was some shit that they heard, because if you really in the marijuana game, and I like to use cannabis, if you're really in the cannabis game and you're around these plants, this is the cycle of life. You plant a seed, it sprouts, you take care of it, you nourish it, and you get a harvest. And you walking through these gardens and you're like, this is harmless. Like, this stuff is harmless. Why are people locked up in this? Why are people locked up for this plant? Why is this plant being so demonized?
Because Jesus turned water to wine and not to weed.
Right. Exactly.
Real quick. No, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Forgot what I was about to ask you. No, I had a really good question. Go ahead. Finish your comment. I'm sorry.
I just, you know, just being in the garden and learning and watching how these plants grow and how, you know, the benefits of it, you know, the benefits that come from these plants, especially when you know, you're growing it yourself, man. It's undeniable to me. Like, someone's not about to sit here and argue me down about anything about weed, because I didn't live it. I've seen it, and I can go show you and talk to you, walk you through it, explain it, and probably change your damn mind too. And that's where people, you know, go wrong, because they don't want to get down in the trenches with it so they can really understand it. Just
Right.
like racism and any other thing. Like if
Yeah.
it don't affect you and you don't care about it, then you gonna think what you want to think until it affects you and stuff like that. So they didn't know no better either because they was fed this little bullshit and they was gonna stand by that.
This is what I was going to ask you, man. You said you had to get uncomfortable. Explain why you say you wanted to get uncomfortable, because I think there's a lot of growth and people say like that's how you. An older guy told me when I was younger, bro, just move to a different city, just out the blue while you don't have kids, man. Get uncomfortable and you'll grow. I thought he was absolutely nuts back in those times. It's just different than what it is now. Social media make the world smaller, but speak on that uncomfortability, man.
You know, I think football has so many great lessons tied to it. And, you know, you're used to being uncomfortable on the football field. Like, it's play after play, like so many good players, the circumstances, you know, everything that you face, you know, you one play to the next. So I think that mentality kind of really stemmed from that. And just really believe in myself. So, you know, being able to go and try something new, I was ready to do that. It was just a matter about finding that. And once you find it, it's easier to go get uncomfortable with something, because if you like something and you care about it and you're willing to endure whatever it takes to be successful in it. So, you know, I don't suggest people go get uncomfortable and just go dive into some stuff that they haven't researched or don't know or don't care about. You know, that's not where the growth is. You got to at least find something that you care about and you're passionate about and you really want to learn about. And a lot of that uncomfortability also is surrendering your ego. Like, dog, you don't know it all. And it's hard for young dudes with money, you know, in that whole world and lifestyle to really come to that, because most of us, you know, we're the most successful people in our lives, and we 22, 23, 24 years old. We're the most successful people that we've ever seen. And so now it's our turn to put everybody else on. And so we feel like we the top dog and the big dog. And in a way we are, but we're only, you know, with experience comes wisdom. So we haven't had the experience that we really truly need, but we're still at this situation and we're in these circumstances that we've already dreamed of. So it's a fast learning curve. But I mean,
what's it like?
Earlier, you want to grow, you got to get uncomfortable. You got to take a step, but you have the gifts and you got the ability and the potential to learn whatever it is. And if you only have the right mindset where I'm gonna be a student of this game and I'm gonna do what I need to do, then you know it's always gonna work out for you.
What's it like being young and unwise with all that money?
Painful. Painful because you get let down. You get disappointed, you get taken advantage of. And it's on so many different levels. It could be your family members, it could be your friends, it could be your financial guy, you know, it could be, you know, one of your chicks, one of your ladies' friends or something like that. You know, the money is such a blind so many people to the wrong things. And as a young dude, you know, you don't know how to say no. Grown ass men don't know how to say no. So how are you supposed to say no to people that, you know, you love and you care about and stuff like that? And the biggest thing that's always screwed me up when I was younger was I just didn't know the right questions to ask. So every bad deal I was in or something like that, I just didn't know the right questions to ask. If I knew the right questions to ask, then a red flag would have went up. Like, okay, nah, man, I'm good.
Every time I ran into it, go ahead, Trey. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say you talk about family and support a lot as well. How did you, and also having like a good team of people around you? How'd you build a solid team around you that can prepare you for this business, this industry that you're in now?
Man, I'm pretty fortunate just to have a solid mom and dad, you know, both still together in the house. You know, I've met so many people, you know, who come from some of those broken homes, man, and I feel like we overlook, you know, how hard it is coming from those situations and not having the support that you need, because life is heavy, dog. This shit heavy, man. And as a young cat, you don't even know what you don't know. And so to not have or be fortunate enough to just have a mentor or someone older and wiser that you can just go ask a question to. What do you think about this? Should I do this? You know, just to give you some sort of wisdom and experience, man. You can't even put a price tag on you, because a lot of times it probably would have saved a lot of dudes' lives, like real, like they life. if they just have someone speaking some life into them and just telling them, no, young blood, you don't need to do this. You know, they wouldn't be locked up right now or wouldn't be on the streets or doing whatever they're doing, you know. So it's honestly sad, man, that everybody doesn't have, you know, that kind of support, man, just to kind of help them navigate through the early parts of their life, because that's when you need it the most. And so many cats make, you know, life isn't forgiving all the time. You make one wrong move and shit, it's a wrap. And so, like I said, you can't really put a price tag on just having a valuable mentor and someone that you can just bounce stuff off of in a strong sounding board.
No doubt. You think George Washington University kind of prepared you for the business side of the industry?
It definitely was a great experience, and it definitely gave me some preparation. And preparation and everything is always the X factor. You know, I mean, you need to be prepared for whatever you're going to take on. Business is an intellectual game. You know,
Absolutely.
so you got to go, you know, you need to familiarize yourself with, you know, the education that's involved with it, the terms and all that type
Business
of stuff.
is an intellectual game.
Yeah. And the crazy thing about it is you need the experience no matter what. So you still got to get in the game no matter what school you go to. You got to go get in the game and make some plays.
And that was going to be my next question, like getting into the game as a black man in the cannabis industry. I saw several documentaries and heard several stories of brothers telling me the roadblocks and the challenges that they face of just getting their foot in the door. Have you faced some of those challenges?
Man, I've definitely faced them, and dog, I do not take being in this industry lightly at all. Like, I really feel like I got an obligation to really, you know, LeBron James and shit, because of, you know, everything that our ancestors and people of color have had to go through and suffer because of this plant. You know, I had an event a couple of weeks ago, and I'm literally in store, you know, selling my weed myself inside the store to people, and I'm thinking like, damn, like cats is really locked up for doing this shit. They're really locked up for doing this stuff, and so I don't take it lightly at all. As far as the challenges, they're at every stop. They're at every stop just to even get in the game. When I first got in the game, you know, you fill out your application, and you go meet with the police. They're called the MED, but they're police. Okay, you sit there, you sit in the room with them, and they're going over your application with you. And shit, that shit is nervous for anybody like us. Like, we just don't like being around them. Rightfully so.
Right.
You know, we have reasons for that. And so I remember him going through the officer going through my application, and he said some shit to me about, where's the lease? So, you know, in cannabis, you have to have a lease in place before they even approve your license, which is backwards. Like, what if I don't get the license? Then I'm stuck.
Right, now I got a lease.
Yeah, you know? And I'm like, I don't have a lease. He's like, well, what are you gonna do? I'm like, I got the deed. Like, I own this shit. I don't got no lease, sir. And so then he was like, where'd you get the money to do that? And so, like, you know, before I left home, I took a little screenshot of my account. You know, I had money put away, you know, from football and all that stuff that I saved and stuff like that I funded my venture with. And I just took that there, and, you know, he was blown away. He was blown away. It's like, damn, he got to sign off on this shit. You know,
right.
And I could tell they made him uncomfortable. You know, he felt like a dumbass after the fact, you know, just not knowing who he was talking to or dealing with. And I can only imagine what people who don't have the funds have to go through.
Right. That's my
you
question.
Know, if they don't have the funds, they're not even really hearing you. And, you know, I'm glad we're working on the social equity side of things, but that's not enough, because if you're going to give me a license for the discount, that's great. Cool. I need a license, but it still costs a bunch of bread just to get all the whole operation side of it going. Still got to get a building, still got to get equipment, still got to get a storefront, still got to get materials and everything that your business needs.
So they price you out of the game.
Yeah, that itself is a cost. It has a cost and expense to it. So just the barriers for getting into this game to be successful and give yourself a chance, you know, they're high. They're high, and that's why we've always been last to it, you know, because we just never have the funds. It's never us not having the intellectual, not having the know-how or the wherewithal. It's always about money.
Mm-hmm. What do you think is real before I get into any more deep conversation, tell us about All Pro Farms, man. Everything that entails. And I know you have a business relationship or partnership with Cookies. Tell a little bit about what you got going business wise, man.
Well, my whole, the whole mission around All Pro Farms was to help people take control of their mental health, and improve their quality of life through, cannabis solutions.
Right.
And, mental health is a huge component right now. I mean, as we talked about in my story, the cannabis helped me with my mental health. So the story has always been there for me. And so now this is my opportunity to be able to help people that struggle with the same things that I did, the depression, anxiety, trying to figure life out, all type of stuff, and be able to offer them, a product and a service that allows them to do that. Now, when I bought 140 acres in Southern Colorado, and all I wanted to do at first was grow a bunch of weed. I'm like, damn, I'm about to go hell. I'm about to grow a shit ton of weed out here, man. And so I took my lumps, my first couple of years just with the learning curve and learning everything, and so what I've evolved to, and what this has really turned out for me was, I really am building this cannabis friendly destination, and that's what All Pro Farms is. It's a cannabis friendly destination. I mean, you can look at it as a winery for cannabis where people can come, they can consume the product without having to look over their shoulder, and be able to learn and understand what this plant does for you, and be able to enjoy it in the comfort of their, casita, villa, whatever that residence is. And they're as legal as cannabis is, there truly isn't spaces like that, where people can just come and relax, unwind, and consume this stuff and learn about it.
Yeah, I think I've only heard of one place that's close.
Yeah,
Mike Tyson joint, right?
Yeah, and that was in the desert, and I don't even know if Tyson Ranch is still going on. But for me, it's a real estate development project, and it's cannabis all in one. And what better investment, these days, getting the best of both worlds, to be able to build a cannabis brand in a space. This is a generational opportunity for me, but also being able to build it with a blank slate of like, damn, I get to design and make this shit exactly how I want to.
It's creating, man.
Yeah,
it's creating.
So everything that I talked about, having the revelations with the Patriots has kind of came into form and really fell into my lap. And I can't help but to believe, like, damn, this shit got to happen because everything is lined up for me.
Mm-hmm. What was it like finding your growers, your employees, that whole process, man? Was it? I know at some points it had to get a little bit overwhelming. You talked about the process of showing the deed and having the lease and those obstacles. What was it? Was it like the journey? How rough did it get?
It's been a pain in the ass. It's been a pain in the ass because, this is still the dope game. Like it's still the dope game. And this is the commercial dope game. So listen, we're not in your bedroom, we're not in your basement, we're not in your garage. Like, this is big agriculture. And so a lot of that mindset that comes from, growing in those small, dirty environments and stuff like that does not transfer over to when you're growing big commercial like that. The processes, even the regulations and all the requirements and stuff like that you have on the legal side of things, you don't have to do on the black market side. So it was so hard for people who were working on the black market, and no shade to them at all. Like, you did what you had to do. It wasn't legal. So, hey, you do what you got to do. I'm not even mad at that point. But when they come over to the legal side, it's a real challenge for them to really go by the book like you have to. And you have to, or they're going to shut your ass down. So you see a lot of people falling out early on because they just can't do that. They can't do the recording. They can't do the bookkeeping. They can't do the record keeping. And they can't pass the testing and the requirements. And one thing that I feel like I've learned just being in the space right now is, growing up, we probably was smoking some moldy ass, dirty ass weed. We had no idea where that shit came from. It was getting as high as hell, and we like, man, it's that Kush. This shit fire and this shit gas. But I guarantee that shit wouldn't pass no damn testing. And so it feels good right now to be able to have a building and a facility that I've literally built and designed for cannabis from the ground up, and I know my shit clean. Like, I know my shit clean as hell, like, and pure, and I know what the terpenes are in it and how it tastes and the flavor. And so I know right now I'm producing a clean ass product, and I can taste it. You know, I got that taste now, just like wine. You know, you keep finding the wine that you taste and that you like, and you know when you research it. So, you know, I'm pretty sure that all the shit we was smoking when we were growing up was some bullshit, man.
Oh, for sure, bro. For sure, man. Well, you're from Denver, man. I like to ask smokers, but we're around the same age, so I like to ask smokers around my age. When did you first smoke?
Shit, probably when I was about 16.
16? Okay.
I went to a little private Catholic high school out here. You know, we was known for, you know, most of the black kids there, they was playing there for playing sports and stuff like that. But, you know, great environment just to, you know, really integrate you and show you how life is going to be, you know, outside of school when you get there, you know. And I had this crush on some of these little skater girls, man. You know skater girls. They had a few of them that was
little Avril Lavigne.
Yeah. They took me to the park, man, and shit, they got me high in the motherfucker, dog. And I'm like, I remember being in physics class when I got back, like, man, what the fuck is this dude talking about? I can't think straight, you know. And, you know, once you get past that first couple of times and, you know, you start getting that euphoric feeling, right. That's what attracts you to weed, like how it makes you feel. You know,
man.
How it makes you feel. And so, you know, I've always been that. And, you know, like I said, I'll argue with anyone, you know, I'm not going to let anyone argue me down about, you know, what this plant does and how it makes you feel and stuff like that, especially now, because I'm smoking everything that I sell. I'm not selling nothing. I'm not smoking.
You preach to the choir. I'm the Kush Venger, man. All I do is go around and tell people and preach the good word of marijuana, cannabis, man. Saved my life as well, bro. I'm right along with you.
And once they try it, they understand it. Like, I feel like most people who have had a bad marijuana experience, they were smokers of shit they shouldn't have smoked the first time they tried it. That's all it was. It was some 30+% shit that was too strong for them that they didn't want to smoke. What person don't want to laugh and giggle and laugh and giggle? There's not one I know.
Or they just overate on the edible. I know a lot of people
that's a whole different beast right there.
Yeah. That ain't for amateur hour, man.
What say y'all to the people who say it's a gateway drug?
It is a gateway drug. It's a gateway to
happiness,
to finding stuff, to finding and figuring out about
shit.
your life. Yeah,
that's exactly what it is.
It's definitely.
I was wondering where my car keys were.
It's gonna take you on a nice little gateway, and you know what? To a better mood, to some better habits, to better thoughts. So I mean, it's definitely a gateway drug. It's just not the gateway that they would. Our path is going a little different. They making that turn 9. We on this turn over here.
I see that you're heavy into meditation. Me and bro, we heavy into meditating, but I didn't really get into that whole culture of meditating until I started smoking, and it kind of led me. The culture of cannabis kind of led me toward meditation. Speak about your relationship with meditation.
Yeah, I mean that's what this plant provides. It allows you to meditate on your thoughts. So, you know, you said earlier it slows things down, right? That's what people need. Like, life is sometimes comes at you, you know, 100 miles an hour, man. You don't have all the answers. And a lot of times, a lot of shit ain't even important. But it's hard for you to decipher those things because, you know, they're going too fast. So, you know, sit back, smoke you a joint, hit it a couple of times, and just close your eyes, man. And I guarantee that things will slow down for you because, you know, life is about choices. And, you know, you got to make good choices, and that kind of leads to like the success of your life, the better the choices are. So it's only right to, you know, you take the time and do the things that you need to do so you can constantly make good decisions over and over and over. So, you know, meditation, the mindfulness, you know, cannabis obviously is an addition to this type of stuff. You know, you can meditate without cannabis, but just that time where you get to soak in your thoughts and to really, you know, think about what's going on and get to dissect it and come to a good conclusion at a good spot. Like you said, you can't put a price tag on that type of stuff because, you know, you need it. You know, everyone really, really needs it.
What was it like when you first started having these mental health conversations around the guys in the locker room and your friends and, you know, family? I don't know. It's not the biggest thing in our culture. So what was that like when you first started having that conversation? You
know, it took a long time just to even really have those conversations. You know, we so macho and we so hard, and it's not really manly in our culture or just in society period to say I need help. I need help. We feel like less than man if we ain't trying to figure it out, ourselves. And so, as I've gotten older, I'm sure you guys can relate to this. You stop giving a fuck, man. You stop giving a fuck about what people think and how they feel about you. Because I've always been, when I first got into this space, I wanted to be behind the scenes and just, make a bunch of money and be laid back and, but that's not gonna cut it. That wasn't gonna cut it for me. And I was so worried about, what friends and people were gonna think and stuff like that. But now, I see this post all the time where it says I am weed, and that's exactly how I feel. Like I feel like I am this plant. This plant represents me, and it's really a huge part of who I am. And I'm fortunate to be able to have stepped in the play in the league and play in the sports arena, and then be in this space and be able to build a bridge with mental health and combine all these things and to provide help and solutions for other people. So as I keep just mentioning, I don't take that shit lightly, man. It's a big undertaking, and I really enjoy it, because you love to hear people tell you thank you and thanks for your help, and I appreciate that. You love seeing and helping people feel better, man, and that's honestly what we're on this earth to do.
Yeah, I call that they call that the 18-40-60 rule, right? At 18, you care about what everybody think about you or whatever. Then at 40, you don't care what they think, and then at 60, you realize ain't nobody thinking about you.
Exactly. Yep.
I like that. What's your favorite strain if you have one?
I used to love, before I started growing my own stuff, I love that Blue Dream. I used to love Blue Dream.
That was one of my first ones, man.
Yeah, it was one of your first ones.
First ones I fell in love with. Yeah.
That gave you that Blue Dream gave you that euphoric feeling, really. For
sure, man.
You feel good as hell on that shit.
I got tweets on the timeline about that Blue Dream, man. That's one of the ones for sure.
Yeah. And then you go to Cali and you get you some OG Kush, man, and man, this shit's strong. This is a little too strong for me, man. I can't even smoke this whole thing. So
yeah.
There's so many strands out there now. I'm growing some stuff right now called Lamage. It's like a lemon orange, right? And it's something. It's a sativa heavy, and it just makes you feel so damn good, man. No matter what time of day. And those. I
love a good sativa, bro.
Yeah, those are the strains that that I need and most high performers need and stuff like that throughout the day. People who got busy schedules, stuff like that. You need something that is a little bit on the lighter side that just makes you feel good. And like you said, we keep saying slows things down for you. And
who you modeled your game after? And I'll give it twofold: in football and also in the weed industry, in the cannabis industry.
Football, man, I love Antonio Gates and those guys, man. I grew up here, so I love Shannon Sharp as well.
Right.
Those are the guys, and I got to play in that era, a little bit with some of those guys, Tony and Antonio. I haven't really modeled my game after anybody in cannabis. I feel
still pioneering, man. This thing
I feel like they're gonna be modeling that game after me here real soon because
already, man.
No one. I don't feel like no one has kind of came into the situation and opportunity that I have and done that yet and pulled that to life. So, Burner obviously is the top dog and really the true pioneer in this. You see Al Harrington doing his thing and stuff like that. So I think all of us have in our work in our unique lane.
Have you reached out to Ricky?
Oh yeah. I talked to Ricky. Yeah, I talked to Ricky.
Y'all compete on who got the best trend?
I know my weed better than Ricky's.
Oh,
you don't know that. You don't know that. You don't know that yet, but I know it though. And the best part about that stuff, and you never try to throw shade at people, but let me see your garden. That's the best part about it. Let me see your garden.
The work in the soil, huh?
Yeah,
who gardens you like out there? Who gardens? Any big names or just farms? Who else garden that you visited and thought had some good work?
Well, there's so many brands out here, and I really think one of my competitive advantages, amongst a lot of, this is a mature market out here. Much a lot of brands is my garden, and most people when they first got in this game, they had no choice but to go get an old warehouse, which was never made or built to grow weed in. So
Right.
it was already infected with pests, mold, mildew, all that type of stuff. And then people try to come in there and grow weed in it, and then they look at like, damn, why is this shit not turning out the way I want it to? Electricity bill is out the roof. And so, that's the majority of gardens that people are dealing with all over the country, everywhere. Is they're going to get some old abandoned warehouse and they're going to try to retrofit it into clean, stable growing environment. And it's hard to make that work. So, as many gardens as I've seen out here, once I see they're in these old buildings, and I'm not saying people can't produce, good quality product out of these buildings, but the consistency is where that comes into. It's like, all right, yeah, you might do it for this crop, but the next crop might fail, or the next crop might be infected with something, because you never truly, in those old buildings, you never truly get rid of those problems that you inherit. So, I built my building from the ground up, made for this stuff. So, I don't have a huge open, big warehouse, because, my thought process was like, okay, I don't need to heat and cool that much square feet, because it's going to be harder for me to control. So these plants, you want your garden to feel the same way it does inside all the time. 72, 74, 76, between 50%, 60% humidity. It don't matter what it's doing outside. It could be full blizzard outside, but this garden in here stay like that. And you want to be able to keep that controlled environment, and it's hard to do when you got these big open spaces. Even in the greenhouse, you have a big open space. It's hard to maintain the control, and that's we're talking about pests too. Like if something affects your garden, if you have a big open space instead of smaller separate rooms, it's taking out the whole thing.
Right.
At least if I have a small problem in a smaller room, I can get this room fixed, and it didn't affect the other rooms.
What trials you went through to learn all this? Do you have to learn throughout the game, or did you kind of have just good foresight?
It was. I tried growing outdoor. I had a couple guys growing outdoor. Like I probably went through about 4 or 5 growers before I really found one.
No, started with that outdoor.
Yeah, I'm not in Cali, so that's not going to work. And I'm not going to put my name on that dirt.
What was the 4 or 5 growers you said that it went through that? What was that process like?
Just a bunch of dudes that overpromised and underdelivered.
I know how that goes.
Oh, you a master grower, huh? You a master grower? Why your weed look like this thing? Why we got seeds and bud rot in my shit? If you a master grower,
Right?
Master fraud.
Yeah, master fraud. Yeah. And listen, every market is gonna go through the same shit. When every market opens up, New York is the most recent one. You don't think there's dudes out there talking about they can grow that Kush, grow all that type of stuff, but they've never grown it on that scale.
And that goes back to what you were saying earlier. I know in certain states, they also give people who have felonies for marijuana, to give them first dibs into the market. But that goes back into if they don't really know, if they're going to buy you out the game anyway, you having first dibs on it not even going to matter.
If you have first dibs and you don't know, and you don't have a plan in place or a blueprint that you can follow, you probably gonna lose a little bit of money because trying to figure it out. Because like I said, and then someone's gonna sit here and come and tell you some shit. I'm gonna grow you all this type of stuff, but then like I said, they haven't grown on that scale before, and they haven't had to record and do all the tracking that's required and all these requirements that are involved in that. So you really got to pick your team slowly. The most important thing is the environment. If you get that part right, you got a really good chance to grow a really nice product. But you don't have a good environment, you're going to be taking shortcuts, then your product's going to suffer.
So we asked old boy from Puff Cannabis I want to ask you the same question, just from a black male perspective. How receptive was your family and you going into this industry?
Man, my dad's from Arkansas, man.
Oh,
I
He wasn't with that shit at all.
feel that.
And, it's all because he wasn't trying to get me, and he didn't want me to get locked up. He didn't want that stuff. And he was listening to the same bullshit everybody else was listening to. And it's crazy because, and this is how I know, how this plant can change people's mind when they really start learning about it. My dad's from, Little Rock, Arkansas, man, rural town outside of there. And so, he moved up here, lived in East St. Louis. And so he's seen, the dope game, the drug game, all that type of stuff. So he's seen the outcomes for being associated with these plants. And so the career that I had built for myself, he didn't want none of that stuff to take me down. And we used to literally almost come to blows sometimes arguing over this plant. And he couldn't understand why I was using it and consuming it and jeopardizing everything that he felt like I was jeopardizing, right? Because like I said, it's not accepted. I could have thrown my whole career away, which we've seen this happen to other guys. But, they're not talking about the benefits. They're not talking about, how it's helping people and stuff like that. All they're talking about is what they were taught about it. And so, now just being invested in it and my dad's seen how much time and effort and money I put into this stuff. And, he walks through the garden with me and he's not a smoker or consumer. But now my dad's like, how much those pounds go for again, son? So, that's one thing my daddy do understand is money and business. And he's glad that I'm, that I'm doing something that I love and enjoy doing. So, they were receptive at all.
Was some of his concerns valid though? Like, cause
100%, 100%, and he always like, you ain't gonna make no money smelling like that. You ain't gonna make no money like that. But like, you to be successful in this, you really gotta embrace it. People remember how you feel, how you make them feel. So I don't care if I'm high. You're gonna have a good time with me. I know how to speak. I know how to communicate. So, I'm bringing all these things with that are in my tool bag with weed. So, it doesn't. It doesn't affect me negatively. Like maybe it might affect some other people, or people might think so.
No, I get it, man. So I built this whole network that we have right here, right? So it's the Roll Up Network. Our brick and mortar creative studio is called the Kush House, which is branded with this podcast. So building a podcast network is substantial. It's pretty big. But getting, my dad's a minister. From a Christian family, we went to church 4 or 5 days a week growing up, bro. So like you trying to grow this brand, and at first, like they look at you like, why are you trying to build a company, marketed and branded around weed? It sounds and looks crazy 7 years ago, but like you said, man, it's educating. I was just consistent on like, yo, like you said, weed is me. Bro, I ain't hiding it. Like don't invite me to your house if I can't smoke it. Like all of that, bro. Like I don't have
it's
like
a
this
plant.
Is
like what are we arguing about here? This shit is a plant. This shit is like growing vegetables.
For facts.
It's the same exact thing.
This is like your collard green.
Yeah, I get it, man.
I'm not arguing. There's no point in even arguing with these people about it. It's a plant. And you want me to show you how this shit grows? I can. You don't gotta smoke it, but don't sit here and say it's evil because this shit ain't killing nobody.
But if they went through that same process as you did, as growing it and putting that same care, even in their own vegetables that they eat, they consume, exactly, then they would understand. And that's
what makes weed even more special because you really have to be meticulous on how you watch it, and you got to make sure you nurture it and stuff like that. You just don't leave it to grow and stuff like that, and don't maintain and stuff like that. Like you can do some other agriculture. You don't do that. You really have to love this and care about this plant to get the best result from it.
Yeah, and everybody that I found that was around this industry that could grow, because I done met some good ass growers, right? Not on no big scale shit, but some good growers. They all were passionate and like about that plant, about being very meticulous about when they nip it in, whatever they got going on, man. So I think
the fella's gonna be hot at me when I say like the best grower is probably a woman.
I can see that
because they're first of all they're more organized. Mm-hmm. They record stuff way better. They track stuff way better, and they're much more delicate with the plants. They're delicate. Those soft ass small hands pruning and touching these plants, trimming it up, manicuring it. My lady right now, she going hard.
Yeah.
And
Family business,
I watch her in there, and like I said, I've been through 5 other dudes, and I just see the difference, and it's a huge and noticeable difference in just how they nurture, touch the plant, deal with the plant, all that stuff. Even all the way down to the watering.
Right.
You might have a motherfucker there, he just turning his head, he on his phone, he just doing this. You know?
Right. Because they nurturers, man. They bring life into this earth.
And it's the attention to the detail. And that's and no matter what you doing in anything, any industry, that's the key to success right there, is your attention to the details.
What's it like when you go in the rooms, man? Because I know you got to negotiate and do business as a brother. So what's it like to go in those rooms and negotiate with the counterparts, man? What type of vibes you get in that?
I literally walk in with my head high, man, and just, if
highest in the room.
If you don't like me, there's something wrong with your ass, man. There's something wrong with your ass. And because people make me feel that way. I get a lot of good positive feedbacks all the time. Whether I'm at the coffee shop, man, the gas station, stuff like that. I treat people really, really nice, man, and really, really good. So, I feel like I got a pretty good aura around us. And when we get to the nitty gritty of any conversation, people can see, and I'm sure you guys realize this right now, you can see that I'm passionate about what I'm doing. Thanks. And when you got passion about something, that shit is contagious and people feel that. Now you just got to make sure that you're covering all the other bases. You're able to talk about your financials. You're able to talk about, what the next year or 5 years are going to look like, and really have your vision and stuff dialed in. And that takes time and practice and preparation to do. But I'm very confident in walking any single room and speaking about cannabis in my project because, as I mentioned earlier, there's not a lot of people doing it. The opportunity is a generational opportunity. There's just too many upsides that I can talk to and speak to versus the downsides. And that's what people want to be a part of. They want to be a part of things that got momentum and that got good vibes. And obviously that's going to, potentially make them some money. That's what investing is about.
So what's the advocacy like the work like with the NFL?
I don't, I feel like the NFL is sneaky as hell, man. Like they can put out a statement like, oh, we researching this and that, but are they really doing it? I don't know, man. We don't know. So, you hope we're getting the ball rolling when it comes to this stuff, like when it comes to cannabis. I think it'd be safe to say, 85, 90% of the players smoke.
Well, the rules have changed though, right? Yeah. Now they can, right? And
coaches are smoking too now. Let's not get it twisted. The people in the front office smoking and all that stuff too. They don't have to worry about getting tested. So, right. I know tons of coaches on college, pro, high school, whatever, that are smoking because what we're talking about, the mental health, dudes are stressed, dudes got anxiety, dudes need to chill and relax, unwind, recover. They need all that, and cannabis gives you that without giving you no damn hangover.
Mm-hmm. They hung Ricky Williams out to dry, man. You would think Ricky Williams was smoking rocks the way they was treating him, bruh.
Man, this is why I respect Ricky. One of the main reasons I respect Ricky, just as a man and as an athlete. Ricky had real life anxiety issues. That's why he used to keep his helmet on when he used to give interviews. He had the dark visor helmet on. Obviously, he don't like talking to people. Wasn't that great at talking to people, right? Okay, cool. That's an issue. We don't know why, but that's something that he had to deal with and fought through. So Ricky literally chose weed over his career. They kicked him out the league. All right, I'm going to go to Canada where I can smoke. Went to Canada, did his thing, whatever. Came back the very next year and ran for 1,800 yards. Like it was nothing.
Right.
On the smoke diet, on the yoga diet, whatever the hell Ricky was doing. That's
niggas on that blue dream.
He on that blue dream. That's a bad dude. And anyone who knows Ricky, like, I've heard Nick Saban say it a couple times. He's one of the smartest people they ever met.
Right.
He just don't be out there broadcasting all that shit. He's just not allowed with it.
I mean, he was ahead of his time with that, man. Because, like I said, I was a kid growing up in a Christian home, like, and I thought, like, man, this man crazy. And, like, if as a kid, you would think this man is giving up all these millions of dollars for that plant. But now, as a cannabis consumer, and I realize, like you said, from an anxiety standpoint, just for him trying to just figure out life and whatever he got going on, because everybody got their own shit going on. But that was his way of staying, coping, being happy. Like, fuck money. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I could go make more money, you know what I'm saying? But right now, like, I like what he stood on, man. I think Ricky Williams was ahead of his time, man.
No, he is 100, man. And such a humble dude, man. And, people may not like his look and all that stuff. That's all it was. People they didn't like his look and who he was. He's not supposed to be doing that. How dare him? How dare him go against the grain like that? People always are scared of people who go against the grain, which is how Kanye has made his whole career. Being different, being bold. And, they always say that luck favors the bold.
Yeah, my realization was when I had a couple instances, but when my father-in-law was on his deathbed, and then doctors would, he would go through all these chemotherapy and all this different other treatments, and then the doctors would say in a roundabout way of trying marijuana because they can't tell you like straight up to go do it.
Yep, and that's a lot of doctors are doing that now. They're doing that now. And you guys live in Florida. I mean, everyone needs a med card out there, but everyone got a med card. But
yeah, I got one.
They're giving them away. If they're giving them away, hey, take it because this is the most consumed substance there is in the whole world.
It's facts.
I just think it's nuts that we got to wait to like extreme measures to take a holistic approach at health and well-being and stuff like that.
I still think there's a long way to go. I mean, I don't think they're about to legalize it federally anytime soon. I think it's just going to be, they're going to put it all on the states. Now, what the industry needs more than anything is just for the banks to be involved. So, people can, get loans and get funding and stuff like that and have access to capital to, fund their business like any other business would.
Right.
So, I mean, to me, that's the next step. It took Colorado a while just to even have, banks that will, take on cannabis accounts. I have a bank here. Shit, I pay $1,000 just to bank with them a month. So even though my business, they've said my business is 100% legal, I still got to pay. There's a cannabis tax in this space for everybody because
it's still selling dope, man. That's what you said.
Yeah, there's a tax. Your equipment is going to get taxed. Everything is going to get upsold and upcharged just because you're in this space.
Fancy extortion.
100%.
Then you got to worry about people looking at you trying to rob you. That side of the game.
It is. It's the Wild Wild West. I hear horror stories of Oklahoma. Man, they're going through it out there. So, I'm glad.
It's federal out there.
Nah, it's rec out there, but they don't even really have the structure and in all the like laws in place like Colorado does. So dudes are just popping up, doing
Wild West,
whatever, and no one's really tracking it yet. So, they got to be careful with that because that stuff isn't good for any industry. Yeah.
Now you're a grower. How does it work in Denver? So you're a grower and you work retail. What are the laws out there?
I just sell wholesale. So I'm building the All Pro brand. And I wholesale to all the dispensaries out there. There's more dispensaries here than there are Starbucks and 7-Elevens. It's probably about over 600. So, early in the game when it first got legal, you had to have a store and you had to have a cultivation, which is tough to do. The cultivation is probably one of the most expensive sides because all the equipment and the space and, costs with that. So a lot of retailers now have went out of business on the cultivation side and just focus on the retail, which is great for the wholesale guys because, let me take that off your plate. You be good at retail. Let me give you what you need to sell.
Right.
So y'all gonna have to come out here and visit now.
Oh no, I'm trying to come out there and shoot something, man. If you allow us to bring our camera and our crew, man, we want to shoot some content. We want to vibe, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna. We probably don't have. We just had a little launch party a few weeks ago, man. Shit was turned. I had
I
another one,
seen.
a soft launch in April. I brought a bunch of the guys out there that I played with. We had this place here called a Marijuana Mansion. So this is where they signed the law into where they sign. It's an old law office where they sign cannabis into law, and so now it's a private venue. So it's a big ass old mansion, and it's consumption friendly. So shit, I had that shit like house party back in the day. DJ had
Right,
a
right.
nice little table where chicks was rolling, beautiful ladies was rolling joints, handing them out to everybody. You know, a little something to sip on over here, and just had that shit rocking like old school house party, man. And it's a vibe, and you know, you're always kind of cautious of
I'm trying to come
mixing
check that out,
alcohol and
man.
weed and stuff like that. But I all these events that I'm throwing, I'm not having one issue with anybody. Everybody chilling, just having a good ass time. Ain't no one fighting, ain't no one arguing. It
Trying to
is
tell
truly
you,
a
man.
vibe, man. It is
So we
truly
do
a vibe,
something. We do something similar. So we have, like I said, a content space, but we operate as a venue space. So we throw art gallery nights and a lot of stuff, man. We've been doing this 3 years.
man.
And I was telling my boy the other day, he was like, "Man, like we just talking security and up, like, everybody getting their shit together, license wise, keep everything like inside with a team." But I said, "Hey, man, if you think about it, since we've been operating around this plant, because I used to promote parties when I was younger and shit, man, around alcohol." I said, since we've been doing shit around this plant, man, we've never had any issues at an event. Not
Not at
one,
all.
not one time.
Not one time. Chilling.
Yeah, Manna had hit me up, and they was talking about doing something out in Oregon. I know Oregon played Colorado. I was wondering maybe we can probably do like a collab
Yeah.
with them.
We can do,
Yeah,
you
we'll
know,
do
there's a
something.
bunch of venues, you know, we could throw a little something. We could throw a cool little watch party, all that type of stuff, man. So, you know, the sky really is the sky, the opportunities are endless out here, man. You know, and as they continue to open up and progress, you know, events are going to become more and more a bigger part of this type of stuff, you know, like whether it's dinner parties, whether it's yoga retreats, wellness retreats, corporate retreats, whatever you want to
Right.
call it. Like, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel with anything. We just bring cannabis to it, man. So chill, bring the right, a different vibe.
Who your
Yeah.
favorite smoker?
Bo. I would, you know what? If I could choose one person to smoke with, man, it would be. I would love to have smoke with Malcolm, and I would love to smoke with Obama, man.
Oh, I think that's
Yeah, I think he said Obama. Yeah, my brother said Obama.
You know, because you know the amount of not. You know, if Obama is blowed, he gonna be spitting some bars. Cause he spit bars without being blowed.
I don't know. You think he not blowed though?
Sometimes I'm sure he's not on a lot of
I
stuff.
mean, it's in his. I mean, you ain't gotta be high all the time to have this plant in you, bro. So like,
Yeah.
he's just cool.
I'm
He's
talking
one of
about
them
like
guys.
a smoke session with Obama. Man, you know he gonna be spitting some shit, and you gonna be high, and you be like, "Damn,
Right.
that was a bar."
I said mine was I got two, so it'll be Dave Chappelle and Dame
Yeah.
Dash.
Yeah,
I like those two.
yeah. Those would be two good ones, man.
Yeah. All right, man. I don't want to keep you too long, man. We appreciate you for hanging out with us, man. I want to come out there, man. What you got going on, like October, November-ish? Let us know, man. We trying to fly out there with our shooters and shoot some content, bro.
Yeah, man.
So
it's
let me
football
know if you
season,
got something
so
going
you know
on.
I'm here, man. You know, I'm engulfed in football season and weed right now, so this is what I do, man. 1, 2, 3.
Already. All right, we're gonna link up with you, man. Appreciate you for hanging out with us. Tell the people where they can find you at.
Oh man, my IG is Mr. Scaife 80. My Twitter is the same. And hey, you know, anything cannabis, football, man, hit me up, man. I'm here.
What
I
you
ain't
listening
ducking-
to
I
these
ain't
days?
ducking nobody.
You listening stuff out west, or you listening to Texas?
Man, I'll never not love Texas stuff, but I'm listening to. Man, I love Lil Baby right now. If we talking about like a little young artist, and then you know,
Or
I'm
not
still-
like little baby.
Yeah, I'm still old school, like Jeezy, Hove, T.I., man. Like, I love those dudes. Like, I literally feel like we grew up in the best era ever of music.
That's
and like,
facts,
my first
man.
year in the league was when Thug Motivation came out.
Right.
You know, I'm not far from Atlanta at all, so
Snowman
taking my
shirts
little-
everywhere, bruh.
Yeah, I'm taking my little Denver ass right down there. I'm in Magic City with Usher and them, all that. You know, I'm in. And the best thing about Nashville was it's so close to everywhere. So shit, I'm up in New York, Miami, at the A. You know, in Texas, it was easy to get everywhere. So, you know, you get the best of both all the worlds just kind of playing in Nashville because it's easy to get everywhere, man. So, you know, that was, you know, the late 90s, man, all the early 2000s, man, that was kind of the best time of music. And, you know, all that stuff, you know, we know it was inspired with cannabis, man. Everybody was smoking and rapping. Let's be real.
Real quick, I seen a picture with you, Kevin Durant, and Vince Young, right? Yeah. I thought, damn, like, man, that's a crazy picture to be in right there. But what's the biggest celebrity you ever met and been starstruck by?
I don't think I've been starstruck by. Well, I mean, I was starstruck a little bit by Beyonce when I first seen her one time, and Rihanna. You know, the dudes, do it. You know, I got a little drunk story one time. You know, we was at 40 one time in Vegas, and I definitely was the drunk homeboy. And my boy, you know, because, you know, DY, you know, they was in the back, you know, shooting, playing cards in the back in the little private rooms, man. And I'm lit. I'm lit like in my wife beater lit. So
what's up with you? I seen the picture with Vince Young and his wife beater in the club, man. What's up with y'all the wife beaters in the club?
Oh yeah, my dog used to turn up. So I remember, like, I pulled up right by him, and I'm like, what's up, Jay? What's up, BY, my niggas? You know, just I was the drunk homie, dog. The drunk homie.
All right, man. Appreciate you for hanging out. We got one more, Trey. I'm sorry.
Yeah, last one. If you got some words of wisdom that you can give a young player in the game, that you can leave them with.
I tell everyone all the time, man, like, don't give up what you want most for what you want at the moment, dog. And it's so easy to do that, like, because, you know, there's so much shit pulling at us on a daily basis as soon as you walk out the house. You know, but you gotta have that vision. You gotta have that tunnel vision. Like, you gotta have, like, to be successful in anything in this life, you gotta have tunnel vision. Like, you gotta just have these blinders on and just be walking this shit and be on this shit 24/7, 8 days a week, man, because, you know, it requires that, and they're just motherfuckers waiting to see you not make it, you know, and you got haters. You're just gonna have so much shit that's up against, and so you can't even be looking that way. You gotta just be focused, so that shit don't even faze you or bother you, because if you give it your attention, that's exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to knock you off path, you know, and it's sad that it be your homies and people you close to, and
come on,
stuff, man. But, you know, you're gonna lose friends on the way. Not
come on, man.
Yeah, you're not supposed to take everybody with you, man. That's the truth. You're not supposed to take everybody with you.
I was listening to another podcast, and it kind of led me to, I guess maybe it was something that you was reading, but it dealt with, like, mindset, and it just kind of elaborated that you control your mind, you set your mind. It's not for nobody else to set, so it's your mindset.
You do, but that's why vision is so important. Like, if you can't see where you headed, and you ain't got nothing to pull you in that direction, like, if you ain't got no vision, then you just scattered out of where you ain't stepping in no direction. So you got to at least have a vision of what you're trying to accomplish or someplace you're trying to go. So
you with a bunch of niggas who ain't got no vision, y'all just blind leading the blind.
You gotta be like 100% 10 toes on that vision, man. As long as you that, and then you'll never compromise, right? Like with your principles, your integrity, or what you got into this, whatever you got into it, what you got into it for. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm pretty sure we've all come to points in business where you can sell out a little bit.
Yep. But you got to be open-minded, though. You got to be open-minded that you don't know it all and you can't do it by yourself. So, you know, you got to be able to find the right help and be okay to ask for help. This is like the best thing that's ever happened to me in this space right now is having partners that I can bounce anything off of.
Absolutely.
They're going to keep it 100 with me, like, nah, what about this? Or you should think about this. You know, and I know they're going to give me some genuine information if I ask them to. And I'm not afraid to ask them to because, like I said, if I win, we all win. So
absolutely, man.
And that's about finding the right group of people around, because not everyone thinks like that. You know, everyone wants to be you. You know, if you're the top dog, everybody want to be the top dog, but they don't want to put in the work that the top dog do. They don't see all that shit that he doing behind the scenes, the late nights he up, you know, writing his playbook down, or, you know, building the vision, figuring out how to connect all these damn dots, because that's what it is.
That's what it is.
Dots. Yep.
Hey, man, you came on here with some bars tonight, man. I appreciate this
Yeah.
conversation, my guy.
Man, I love it.
We'll come hang out in Denver, man. Thanks for coming through, my dude.
All right, man. Y'all stay in touch, man. Congratulations on everything, bro.
No doubt,
All right,
Bo.
thanks a
Stay
lot, man.
blessed, bro.
Likewise, man. Likewise.
All right, man. Y'all be cool.
All right,
So,
bet.
man, what a fire conversation, bro.
We don't miss.
Man, that was a good one. That went a little. I like how we mixed it up. I didn't want to go sports crazy and hang out in that whole arena. I get tired of talking about football and recruiting. Got some good information out of it, but that ain't,
Yeah, I can tell he probably get tired of talking about the same shit too.
Yeah, that's why I want to jump into some business talk, man. He gave us some gems, man. Sharp guy.
Yeah, a lot to take away from that conversation. I can't wait to play it back and listen to and learn. Just get in my zone and just learn something from it.
Yeah, no doubt, man. How you feeling? Good? What you got playing? What you got on the calendar for the rest of the week? I think we gotta do a cup show, man.
Yeah, we gotta do cup tonight. Well, that was the plan.
Yeah, let's see what these guys talking about. Jump on the cup, man. That was a good one. We'll wrap it up. We got some more interviews lined up. More people from the cannabis industry. We also gonna get some artists to come hang out with us that dropped some albums recently. I want to keep it very organic and start with like Florida-based artists that we like, because this is a cultural and a creative platform and show. So it's gonna be around everything cannabis. So I want to get people on here to talk about their creative process, whether they paint and find out what they listening to and what they think about rolly topics and shit like that. Let's get into our Joe Rogan, man.
Put Black Joe bag.
Yeah, Joe Rogan bag, bro. Just trying to hang out, talk about dope shit. You know what I'm saying? With some dope individuals.
Shit, after kicking it with Bo, man, I'm ready to damn get to work, cuz.
Yeah, we got to line up, man.
Bars at the end, boy.
Yes, sir, man. I like what he said with the crew. You know what I'm saying? That's why, we got to keep our shit on point. But yeah, you got to have a circle of people that you bounce shit off of. Even we was talking from a business perspective last night with Logan and Alan and some guys on the team of how we putting this business board together. Have board meetings when it pertains to Roll Up Network, Kush House, and all of that. That's the lane you got to be in, because it can't be dictatorship and one person makes all. That's a lot of pressure. Like, they ain't even fun for anybody that even wants to run an organization like that. To me, it's just crazy, because that ain't fun, bro. It's a lot of pressure. I want to share some of this pressure. That's why I tell you, like, man, let's get a team of people that make these decisions together. That should have just take a lot of pressure off my shoulders, man. So I was glad when he said that. I thought it was just good perspective from somebody that's also trying to pioneer something, man.
Yeah, I love it, because you definitely need people around you that's going to catch the stuff that you don't see, and
For sure.
see things from different perspective, because they have different life experiences, and they can help you navigate what we're trying to do, because we all got the same vision. We all want to make it. So,
right. All right. It's Kush House the podcast, man. We'll catch y'all on the flip side. Here.